Well, I was just up there like, I'm on acid. I'm on acid.
Hey, everybody. It's plug time. So I'm going to give you my plugs for the next couple of weeks. I'll be appearing next at April 21st at the LA Glass House in Holtsville. It's a weed show. There's going to be vendors and all kinds of fun stuff there, so come on down. Then after that, I'm going to be at Governor's Comedy Club, the Giggle Room, on April 22nd for Uncle Terry's birthday show. It's going to be a great show. Billy's on it. Fat Jay's on it. I'm on it. There's a lot of great acts on it, so come on down. You can get your tickets at governors.com. Then May 13th, I'm going to be in Walton, New York, Castle on the Delaware, with Mr. Fat Jay, Mr. Billy Geyer, and Mr. Terry McNeely. It's Uncle Terry and the Funky Bunch tour. And then May 14th, I'll be appearing at the Keystone stage with the Funky Bunch and Uncle Terry again in Oliphant, Pennsylvania. And then May 20th, I come back home to Long Island to do McGuire's in Bohemia. McGuire's Comedy Club in Bohemia. What you say, Chris?
It would match my panties. They're Hello Kitty.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Millennial Stoner. I am Millennial Stoner. I'm Joe Winchell. And I am a little tired. Had the roast last night at the Red Zone Bar and Grill. Shout out Red Zone Bar and Grill. The roast of Terry McNeely. I'm shot. I'm shot. But the good news is for everybody listening right now, I'm bringing back my guest today is everyone's favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Geyer's with me again.
Hello, Joseph. I am back.
Hi, William Geyer.
Am I everybody's favorite? I guess.
You're my favorite. I just expect everybody to like the same things I do.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me again. This is awesome. I'm glad to be here. The intro music, when we were rocking out before, I was doing like some belly drumming.
Yeah.
You know, and I always would love if like, you know, they actually added some kind of like belly drumming to an actual track or something. Like I would just love
that's
to be
got to exist
on the like the pamphlet, you know, on the CD or something, you know,
the fold out.
Yeah.
Oh man, you just dated
Billy
yourself
Geyer on belly drum.
I don't know why you haven't made that already and sold that as merch. I'm being honest with you. That's great.
It's something, you know.
I guarantee
it's a different sound.
Yeah, it is. But I'll guarantee you, there's either a DJ in Brooklyn. Or like a Swedish fucking band that we've never heard of before.
Doing belly drums.
That's like belly drums. You know, that's my album, Belly Drums.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that.
I don't know if you know the Captain Beefheart.
Which Captain?
Do you know Captain Beefheart?
Captain Beefheart. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm going very avant-garde with
I went.
references.
It took me a second. I'm like, no, I know of Captain Beefheart.
But he has that weird album, Trout Mask Replica, where all the musicians were playing like, you know, styrofoam or like, you know, this guy's on the styrofoam pad.
He all did. He was like. Somebody recommended that because I was like real into Tom Waits in college.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, yeah, Tom Waits, which at one point wasn't even music. It was just him being like, and spiders and what's in the shack outside.
Yeah.
What's he building in there? That's not music. It's like Tom, it's cool. It's you know, it's a horror movie trailer is what it is.
Yeah, it's out of this world.
But that's
stuff.
when I was getting into real into Tom Waits. And like somebody was recommended Captain Beefheart to me because they literally pitched it as like, oh, he plays like egg cartons as instruments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like gives it a different sound, man.
I mean,
I was a Captain Beefheart head when I was going through, you know, my acid phase.
Yeah, but weren't you like? I remember like when we like started hanging out and everything became friends. I was like. One of the things I always talk a lot about if that door is open in a conversation is music. I love music, and you know a shit ton about music. You went through a couple phases and everything. I did.
I went through you know, high school or middle school, like my punk rock phase.
Did you have a mohawk?
I had a mohawk, Liberty spikes, a leather jacket. I got to dress more like you. You know, that's why I love your style too, because it reminds me of what I used to dress like.
This is
not like this out of work construction worker.
I used to put chains on my jacket, my leather jacket, and go to high school. Like
nice,
that.
Yeah. I had a chain wallet.
I had. Oh man, it was a picture of me I actually put up recently.
Doc Martin boots.
Oh, I had real combat boots.
Oh, nice.
I went out of my way. I was like, I'm a fuck pussy ass Doc Martin bullshit. I went to the Army Navy store.
Oh, nice.
And I bought like fucking fucking stomping boots, like curb
stompers.
Yeah, curb stompers. No, there was like I went because it was like cool. I remember it was like every dude. I watched a lot of like those '90s films. of like with like always the coolest guys to me were always the dudes with like those boots on and everything like that.
Yeah,
because they were always like metal dudes or like fucking like punk guys or whatever like that, and that's what I wanted to be like.
Yeah,
you know.
I was way into punk rock, and then I went through my wigger phase.
You had a wigger phase?
Yeah,
I kind of had a wigger phase in like 11th and 12th grade.
Yeah,
it was like 11th and 12th grade. Part of it was probably me just wanting to fit in. I'll be dead honest.
Because there was some of that too.
It was.
For me,
I remember the last 2 years. Not that I didn't have a lot of friends, but I was just like I was just like, all right. Because I remember like I wore like one outfit to school, and everybody was like, "Oh, cool outfit" and everything, and I was like, all right, I'll just do this because I was like, you know what I mean.
I started rocking all that in Nietzsche and Rockaware.
Echo. I wore Echo.
Echo.
That was the one I wore. I had an Echo. I had an Echo tracksuit. I had an Echo tracksuit, like a tool. But like a ninth and 10th grade, I was fucking like that's the weird thing. I still listen. I love hip hop for the record. I love all that, but I still
love all the punk rock that I used to listen to as well.
Man. But like. It never felt right. Like there's a couple pictures of me with like the crew cut and like an Echo shirt wearing like shorts, which I don't even fucking wear anymore. I wear shorts. I don't wear shorts to go out anywhere. I'm ashamed of my fucking terrible fucking skinny ass emaciated legs. They it just looks like I got dipped in acid by a supervillain. And that's why I don't do it. Everybody's like, you don't wear shorts. I'm like, I hate myself. I hate my body. Like, I don't like taking my shirt off sometimes.
Oh, you got a nice body, Joseph.
Oh, man.
It's better than mine. This big hunk of junk you're looking at today.
You know what it is about your physique, though? Because you're always like, I always refer to you as like barrel. Like I guess you could say you're a fat man, but I've seen fatter.
I am fat, but then I also got that like linebacker build, you know.
You do, but you got like a build that was like that was like an in shape build in like 1945.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you look at a lot of guys from that era, they're just like, but they have the tucked in pants. Guys, a lot of guys that look like you, no beard, those glasses with like the comb over hair. Just like, I have a family, like some Polish dude named Wanowski or some shit.
I feel like I look like Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
You have big fucking professional wrestler vibes.
Yeah.
Like you, man, what would your professional wrestling name be? That's a good question.
I've never thought about this.
Okay.
I'm not good with naming things.
You're not? You know what kind of character you would be? Would you like be a good guy or bad guy?
I'd probably go more of the bad guy.
You go bad guy?
But I'd want to be one of those bad guys that you'd love.
Okay.
You know?
Oh, you want to have a lot of charisma?
Like Stone Cold was a bad guy.
Yeah, he organically became a good guy.
But then he was,
He was they just decided they liked him because they hated Bret Hart so much.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened.
But yeah, I'm not good with naming things.
Oh man,
Definitely
you have
not.
a lot of there's a lot of you can do anything. If you walked in, honestly, you have a great look.
If I had a kid, he would be nameless.
You should just be Vader Jr.
Vader Jr.
That's your whole gimmick. I'm the son of the original Vader. Which is awful because it's like everybody just saw his actual son induct him in the Hall of Fame. So everybody'd be like, what the fuck, Vince?
I didn't do the jokes about me at the roast last night.
You didn't roast yourself?
I was going to roast myself.
Oh, a little context, everybody. I thought I was a little tired. Billy's a little tired.
Yes, I'm exhausted.
We were at the roast of Terry McNeely last night.
I'm hungover.
Yeah, you drink like 20 beers.
Weed and food.
Yeah.
I'm hungover with all those things.
You love those fucking wings, don't you? Every time we do a gig every time we do a gig at Red Zone, the first thing you say to me is like, I'm going to get a plate of wings. Like, that's always what you say.
I got there early. I picked up Terry and Carrie, his lovely lady.
Picked up both of them?
Picked up both of them.
Oh, my God.
Very early. And then I just started drinking when I got there.
Long car ride?
and then I was like, all right, let me get some wings. So I had like 20 wings.
You guys were there like 2 hours early too, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3 hours
so you
early.
might as well eat something.
Yeah. But that, I don't like to eat before I drink. I like to drink on an empty stomach, which you're not supposed to, but it works better for me. Because I didn't really get that full drunk, happy drunk. I was just bloated all night.
But you were, I felt you were in a great spirits.
I just
probably because you were so drunk.
I was bloated. I just felt bloated all night.
Your set was great.
Thank you. Your set was great as well, man. Everybody did well.
Everybody had a lot of fun.
Great roast. Terry was ossified, to say the least. It's fun to see him.
I've never seen a man that obliterated deliver jokes.
Yeah.
He was, And he killed. Like, he did great.
He did
what
great,
it was?
man. It was hilarious.
And I was telling John this. I said, the guy who runs the Red Zone, John. I was telling him, like, he was like, this was a lot of fun. I'm like, it was a lot of fun. It's like, we all know each other. This is like, that was the whole point of the Sinatra roasts and everything. And when you watch most of the Comedy Central roasts, there's a few where they have a few people that was like, because that's like how Amy Schumer got famous and everything when she was on there.
Yeah.
And like Geraldo is kind of like, I think Geraldo's like the roast master, the roast guy, even before Jeff Ross was to an extent.
Yeah, he was on all of them.
Because they just, he was the unknown comic.
Yeah.
But like,
and
they all knew each other.
Brilliant. Always brilliant.
Always
shit.
brilliant. Always brilliant. I have an insult I say because he says it to Brian Posehn.
Yeah.
I call you a ghoul because he looks at Brian Posehn and he goes, Brian Posehn, where are you, you fucking ghoul?
You ghoul.
But all those guys know each other. The reason why it's funny is because, like some people are just gifted. They can insult anybody or like not insult, but like roast anybody just by looking at them.
But it's funner, when you know the person, the camaraderie.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what. Honestly, that's what made it so goddamn funny.
Yeah,
because there was some brilliant. You were the only one that made fun of my crappy hairline. Because for some reason, I guess I was telling you before, and I'm like, everybody's gonna hit me with rapist jokes. So,
and I don't know why they didn't hit me with the rapist jokes.
People love you.
Yeah, but I also like my act. Like I do.
Well, you're gonna get fat. I was talking about this before. That's what it is. I got
more fat jokes.
I guess it's the leather jacket. People think I look devious.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I do more explicit sort of. I don't really.
Maybe they find that to be. Maybe everybody was like, he always does that. He likes that stuff.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. They were like, oh, it's not going to hurt him. Because he's used to it. He does it to himself all the time. I
went up there. I was just like, Billy Geyer, you corpse fucker. Where are you?
That's what I was expecting.
Damn, I should have said that. Damn it, I'm going to say that next time.
Where's Billy Geyer, that baby fucker?
I'm surprised you made it down here. There's like 5 cemeteries on this way. You didn't get distracted? Yeah. Oh, my God. Billy Geyer's been kicked off of more playgrounds than...
I didn't really get too hard. I mean, I've gone to
all your stuff was good, though. I thought it was.
The stuff I did? Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I think it went over well. And you did great, too, man.
I had one joke that didn't go the way I wanted, but all the stuff that I wanted... that I wrote worked for the most part. And I didn't know everybody, so I didn't write jokes about everybody on the dance.
Neither did I.
But I wrote jokes about most of them. I think there was like 3 people I didn't do.
And then all those people bailed. Fucking pussies.
Yeah, I threw out a bunch of jokes. Because everybody changed. I had a whole joke I wrote about three people into one. You were involved in it. I think it was about Kevin Downey. I think Jessica Colazzo, and I was like, "Well, I got to throw this," because and I butchered it and turned it into a joke that turned into crap on there. That was the one that didn't work.
I mean, it still went over good, man.
I should have said it anyway. Whatever. It was fun.
You did
that was
great.
The thing. It was a lot of fun, though.
Did great. It was very long. That's what it was, too.
It's John Butera show, man.
Yeah,
it's got to be 35 comedians, 8 hours long.
Typical John Butera fashion.
Man.
John did great last night as well.
He did, man. It was a good room.
People were probably surprised to him. He's not used to getting laughs.
That was my first joke. I said, John, it's amazing. I've never seen you be funny in public before. Which I know is a joke that's been done to death by a lot of things, but I was just like, it just popped into my head.
John's hilarious, though. Yeah. He is. And a sweet man.
Yeah, he did. And it was a lot of people.
Yeah, it was a packed.
A lot of people came
Everybody
out.
drinking, drunk.
Yep.
A lot of drunken Republicans.
My favorite. A lot of drunken Republicans.
Ready to stomp on some left-wing pussies.
Ready to stomp on some left-wing pussies.
Yeah, I didn't want to show my true colors last night,
You wanted to go up there and just have like a rainbow shirt on and be like...
So I just came from my Black Lives Matter rally.
Boo, Billy Geyer.
Yeah, I don't fall, politically,
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah, we talked about this.
I mean, it's just, I was telling you before, I have this jacket. I'm making a bit out. I got to make a bit out of this.
The jacket, yeah.
I have this jacket.
It's a lot of attention.
It's got an American flag on it. I love eclectic leather jackets. I've always had a weird style.
Yeah.
Even in high school. When I would wear the Echo things, I'd get the weird. I remember when they had all the Marvel stuff on their shirts.
Yeah,
I had a bunch of those, but I would or
it'd be like SpongeBob, but he'd all be
I'd get the colorful shit, and I'd be like, oh, but I never wore I liked the baggy pants to an extent because I would just rip them up and wear I just wore that's another thing. I always wore the combat boots.
Oh, okay.
Everybody had Timbs. I had fucking Army issue boots. But
I still rock my Nikes.
Yeah.
The fucking Air Force Ones. I'll be rocking those.
I
till
love
I'm
Air
dead.
Force One.
Bury me in my Air Force Ones.
Jordans. My Jordans till I die. I swear to God, I'll wear Jordans till the day I die. Don't give a
yeah,
shit. I'll be
man.
80 years old. Some people always tell me, they're like, I had to grow up. I had to throw out my kicks. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with? What does that have to do with growing up? Did Michael Jordan molest you? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? How is that connected? Just wear the sneakers, not at work, or wear them at work. Who gives a shit?
I think I'd rather either be buried in my Nikes or my Mandals.
You have mandals.
Yeah, I rock Mandals when I'm not rocking these. Like it's just, or if like you quick go to the gas station.
Yeah.
You know, or just around the house. You got to run outside real quick, bring out the garbage, throw on the Mandals.
We're on the mandals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have this jacket though. Bring it back around. It's an awesome jacket, and for those of you who want to know what it looks like, have you ever seen what the jacket Johnny Knoxville wears, or really it's from this movie Easy Rider?
Yes.
And I think it's Henry Fonda. I think it's Henry Fonda. Can you look that up, Chris?
Yes, I believe it's
Henry. I think it was Henry Fonda is in Easy Rider.
Born to be wild.
Yeah, he's got this jacket. I always wanted it.
Great
I got it for Christmas
on the soundtrack.
Yeah, Steppenwolf. I got it for Christmas. Peter Fonda. Thank you.
Fonda.
Peter
Yeah,
Fonda.
I knew it's in sound right.
Yeah, not Henry, but Peter.
Yeah.
But I have this jacket, but it's got the American flag in the back. And every once in a while, just like somebody will come up to me and be like, "What's up, brother?" And I'm like, "Oh boy, brother." And they're just like, "Ah, man, nice jacket." I'm like, "Thank you. Wear it with pride." I'm like, "I will." And they go, jet fuel can't melt steel beams. I'm like, "God damn it!" Like,
you got to watch out with the country folk, though. Didn't they blow away fucking those guys at the end of the movie?
Who guys?
As Easy Rider.
They did, yeah. Well, that's kind of
the hillbillies.
Well, yeah, that's it. They go mixing with that movie rules. You ever seen that like recently? Oh man,
not in a while, but yeah, I've watched it quite a few times over the years. You know, definitely, it's a classic.
Yeah, I loved. That was one of those movies that I would do this thing where I would, if somebody talked about it or I saw a movie, that had some kind of prominence, I guess. Like you know what I mean? Or like Easy Ride was always kind of like around the echelons. Like, oh, this movie seems important, so I seeked it out.
And Jack Nicholson supposedly he's really high in the movie.
This doesn't surprise me.
You know,
I always heard weird.
They're
rumors.
smoking real weed in the during that scene.
Yeah, I think they made it because it was self-funded. It was Peter Fonda. It was going to be made. This is my nerdy film size. I love fucking movies. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be made by Roger Corman's studio at a certain point. There's like a whole documentary, I think, about Roger Corman where they bring this up. But like, it was going to be made by them, but the budget wasn't right, so they went I don't think Paramount ended up putting it out or something like that, or some other studio. They went someplace else, but it was a huge hit. I think it got nominated for an Oscar. They got nominated for something, but it was a big hit, and it was an independent film. It wasn't made for a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And the cast to this day is stellar. It's fucking Fonda, Jack Nicholson, and the fucking, what's that crazy guy? I loved him so much. He was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. Oh God, look him up. Look it up, Chris. Look up the cast.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Look up the cast. It's the crazy guy. Probably the craziest actor like ever. Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper, yeah.
Dennis fucking Hopper.
The guy, he was in Speed, remember?
Yeah, he's the bad guy in Speed.
Yeah.
He's great. He was great. He's dead now.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, he did this. He would drink on set all the time. He would get fucked up.
Awesome.
He'd just get fucked up all the time. But he was part of that like hippie movement of actors.
Right. Yeah.
And he was brilliant, but he was just like a fucking problem.
Yeah.
He made this movie called like Mad Dog Mardigan or some shit like Mad Mardigan's from fucking Willow, but it's like Mad Dog something. It's like this based on this real person. He like was this dude drank like rum. So he just drank like a bottle of rum every day.
Yeah.
Just like wouldn't show up getting fist fights with everybody. You know what I mean? And then, the movie got made, but it's like, it's crazy. And you can see him. He's just visibly like, what the fuck? You can see he looks fucking hammered in it.
Yikes. Well, I don't love the booze as much as I used to when I was younger. Being a millennial stoner, more about the weed.
Oh, look at you! You did your segue.
I did.
We're not even 20 minutes in. I'm gonna start asking this question probably more frequently on the show anyway, just because it is called Millennial Stoner, so I should talk a little bit about. I don't really care, but
I brought up
it's a good point.
You,
yeah, no, it's a good point.
Recently, because the last time we didn't bring up a lot about weed.
Well, I just wanted to tell yours. I just wanted to talk about you, Billy.
Right, but I think. Being a millennial stoner, talk about like maybe the first time we ever smoked or
what is
anything.
no? I mean, I can say with absolute certain that there's two answers to this. So, I'll say this: what was your first experience with marijuana?
All right, the first time I ever smoked, I was 14 or 15. I was at the Seneca Middle School Carnival. Right, we were walking to the carnival. Me, my two other buddies, Vinny and Joe. We're cutting through the woods. There was this shady dude, Dan, who was older than us. And he asked us if we wanted to buy a pre-rolled blunt for $20. Now, my two other buddies have smoked, previous, a bunch of times.
So this dude comes out of the shadows like, hey,
yeah,
you guys want some weed? Like, oh, man, it's literally a dare PSA.
And thinking now, I don't know if I would buy a pre-roll from a shady dude like that now.
Yeah, now, but as a kid.
I didn't,
Who gives a shit?
It ended up, I think it was laced.
With what? With cocaine?
I don't know. Because
I don't think that
my
actually
two other
works.
buddies wigged out.
Dust will do it too. If you put like angel dust on it, I know that shit.
Unless it was just really good weed.
It could have just been really good weed.
Because I felt the effects and I was like, oh, this is awesome. But my two other buddies were like, no, this is different. This is not what we're supposed to feel like.
Maybe they're smoking dirty ass regs.
Maybe.
Or not smoking enough. Like there's a couple of friends I know for a fact, like just couldn't, because I smoked like a lot of weed. I started smoking a lot of weed in college. Like I smoked in high school. Like my first experience was, I think, I was like in 9th grade. And I remember my buddy that I went to high school with, he like lived down the road from me, right? And he like rolled this shitty blunt. I remember it was the first time. He was like, do you want to smoke weed? And I'm like, yeah. And I'd never seen anybody roll a blunt before. First time I ever saw it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, you got to cut this thing. I remember like so distinctly, he's telling me, he's like, well, you got to open it up. Like you got to peel the thing off. Yeah. You got to split the fucking leaf down the middle. And then you re-roll it essentially, right?
You'd have to like blow the cigar.
Yeah. You have to do. I remember being like, ew, what are you doing? Why are you sucking on the cigar? Yeah. And he's like, it's the only way to peel it off. And I'm like, you could just like lick it like regularly. I don't know if that's better. Like, if you want to look less gay, I don't know. Like, but like, yeah, that was like, I remember that. And we went down, he had trails and we went behind the trails and we smoked this like shitty ass blunt. There was a hole in it, so we had to hold it a shitty way. It was like, worst, remember, it looked like a boomerang. It looked like a fucking like I don't know, like I never nobody ever rolled like this perfect joint unless somebody bought it for, like you said, got a pre-roll, or whatever like that. But everybody always rolled the shittiest. It was either too short, too thin. Yeah. Just crappy.
This was something like, it wasn't a pre-roll from like you get now from like,
no, it's like a literal pre-roll.
This is somebody that rolled it up and probably put dust in it. I don't know.
Probably spit in it, put his dick on the weed.
We were fucked up for hours. My one buddy had to leave and go home, get picked up by his mom. We walked around the carnival. I remember eating funnel cake, having a blast. And then at one point, this girl we went to school with, took me and my buddy into the shadows, beyond where the carnival lights were, out into the football field.
Hey, kids.
And she showed us our titties.
What?
And then she's like, do you guys want to feel them? She had huge tits.
Was she charging you for this?
No.
Okay.
So we, felt her up in the fucking shadows and went back to the carnival, and I was like, if this is what smoking weed is like, I'm going to do this every day of my life. It's all going to be titties.
Dude,
and molesting girls in the shadows. Oh and it has been, the last, I don't know how many years. I'm 32 now. I was 15 then. I don't know.
I don't know if anybody ever, I think there was one time that like a girl showed her tits on like the beach at a party. I think that was what happened. But I was like on the outside of it, but I like saw it. I remember seeing like why is everybody in a semicircle around, I'm whatever the fuck her name is. I'm not going to say on fucking the air. And I just remember seeing like titties from a distance and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like 15. I'm like, did you fucking say that? Yeah. And then they were gone. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like,
it's so awesome when you see titties when you're young, man.
I think they gave her like $20 to do it or some shit like that.
A year later.
Her deal was like, you have to like stand in front of me.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like 15-year-old shithead kids. Like,
year later, I went back to that same carnival and I found some young kids and I got them high and then I showed them my titties in the darkness. They felt me up and I kept the tradition going.
Then I started thinking, I think that was a man that's for my time too.
Yeah,
Man, this is definitely going to get me canceled. This conversation was fucked.
why?
No, I'm kidding. I say that every episode. I say it every episode. I just look for something. I'm like, what are we going to get? What's the? No, that was great. It's my favorite conversation we've had. I'm trying to think of other fucking weed. We drank a lot. That was what we did. Weed was hard to get.
No,
at one
definitely.
point.
It was a lot easier.
Weed was hard
booze.
to get, but beer was easy to get. Beer was easy to get.
How would you get the beer?
Oh my god, this is a great series of questions.
We
to
would
ask.
shoulder tap.
What would you do? What's shoulder tap?
You never shoulder tapped?
What's shoulder tap?
You stand outside the gas station. And you're like, "Hey, Mister, can you give me a 12-pack?"
Oh, that's shoulder tapping. No, we had so. There was one of my friends knew this fucking 25-year-old shithead. So I guess it's like a shoulder tap, but he would, there was multiple ways. We would get him to buy us beer. We'd all give him money and he'd be like, just give me money for cigarettes. And we'd get 8 packs of cigarettes. So everybody would be like, you have to throw an extra 5 on top so you can get smokes. And then he would drop off the fucking beer and he'd have a bag of fucking smokes.
Oh, nice.
And then that dude just most stories, that dude just disappears.
Right,
that.
Yeah.
You don't want to know where that guy is. That's a low life. You know what I mean?
We had a couple of those guys in the neighborhood as well.
Yeah. And then eventually you just don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
One day you see them and it's I haven't seen fucking Derek in a while.
They were always way too old to be hanging out with these young kids. There was always something wrong with them. Like this one guy, he worked for the electric company in Ronkonkoma.
Oh God!
And
what a setup!
He got fried.
Oh, he had a wonky brain,
and he would he was gone after that. He was a normal dude, had a wife, and then that happened, and then he lived in a trailer in the woods. His wife left him because he was just fried. He was gone. So he would walk around Ronkonkoma all the time, just smoking cigarettes and drinking. So we were in the neighborhood.
Wow,
kids.
one of those real stories of my life went to shit, and now this is who I am.
We would hang out with him, and we'd make him get us beer.
How old was he?
Had to be in his 40s.
Okay, so he was older.
And we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And he was just like a crackhead.
And then, did he just disappear one day?
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah,
you just don't know. What do you mean? You don't know what happened? No news headline or whatever. Just gone.
He would bring us back to his trailer because he lived in this trailer in the woods, and we'd get drunk there.
And he'd blow him.
And no, we didn't blow him.
And then he'd pull his dick out.
It would just be weird.
Yeah, what was in the trailer?
The walls would be, plastered with cutouts of newspapers and it was almost like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind, when he's all going crazy and shit. And he was trying to grow weed in a tuna fish can with tuna. He's like, there's weed in here and I'm growing weed, and it was a can of tuna.
Yeah.
He's trying to grow weed in a tuna fish can.
Oh wait, I do remember you telling me this.
I'll always remember that.
Oh my God. I don't even know if that works.
No, it does not work at all.
Oh my God.
He was just crazy.
Yeah,
but a hell of a guy to get drunk
I'm
with.
I'm trying to remember, I'm a hell of a guy to get drunk. We never did that.
When you're
we
15
had that.
in
The
the
other way
woods
to
of
get
Ronkonkoma. Your mom thinks you're at your buddy Derek's.
This is my favorite episode so far.
You're drunk in the woods with crackhead Paulie.
So, did you have other guys? I remember there was a story. I never met this guy, but my friends would always talk about this dude that lived in the woods, and his name was Hot Dog Joe or Joe Hot Dog, Joe Hot Dog or some shit like that.
How did he get this name?
I don't fucking know.
Was he a Nathan's
no, this
hot
is the
dog
actual
winner?
story. This may have been bullshit. I never met him. Okay, I never met him. I don't claim to know anything if I did, but his whole thing was basically apparently he just lived in the woods and taught karate. Exactly. I don't, but that's what I'm that can't possibly be true. And every once in a while I'd hear somebody be like, I saw Joe Hot Dog in the woods. I'm like, that's not a real person.
Oh man,
maybe he was. There was another woman.
I would love to take karate lessons.
I'm trying to remember.
Hot Dog Joe.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Was I supposed to seek him out?
Yeah.
If you want to master the art of Wing Chun, you must go to the woods and find Joe Hot Dog, the master. Joe Hot Dog.
That's hilarious.
Swear to God, I think that's what I said. Joe Hot Dog or something. It just may be bullshit. I can't remember. If any of my friends are listening to this, just text me right now. And and as you hear this, and let me know. But that was another person. I'm trying to think of other weird.
I love neighborhood
There was
weirdos.
a weird homeless guy that would just show up to funerals.
Just anybody's funeral.
He was nice. He wasn't like mean. He would just be like, he would just go in the line and be like, it's feel terrible for your loss. And everybody like, who the fuck is that dude that looks like a painter from the 1950s?
There was a mentally challenged man who thought he was like 7 years old, but he was really like 40. And he'd ride around his bike and hang out with the neighborhood kids.
Oh, God.
And a lot of times he would get into like fights with the parents because they'd be like, get out of here, you waterhead, you know?
Waterhead? Oh, my God.
I just want to play baseball. Stay away from my kid.
Jesus Christ. They had a broom. Like, get out of here.
He'd wander into like, family barbecues in the backyard.
Really?
Like, yeah, it was
weird.
Bad. Very weird. That was in Holbrook. Hey, this is Billy Geyer, and we got some upcoming comedy show dates for you. April 22nd in Levittown at Governor's Comedy Club in the Giggle Room. Terry McNeely's birthday show. Joe Winchell is on it. Fat Jay, myself, Bonnie Scalisi, Mandy Jones, Lou Pratts. April 23rd, I'm at the Freeport Yacht Club, part of Laughter Saves Lives. May 13th, I'm with Mr. Joe Winchell and Uncle Terry and the Funky Bunch at the Castle on the Delaware in Walton, New York. Then May 14th, Uncle Terry and the Funky Bunch take over the Keystone stage in Oliphant, Pennsylvania.
Oh, man, Long Island.
And then this guy I went to high school with ended up calling the cops on him and said that he touched him.
Oh, my God.
But he really didn't.
Ah, shitty.
Yeah, really shitty. So that he ended up, he got in trouble, and I never saw him after that again.
Yeah, see, that's what, these people just disappear. It's weird. These weird, like Earth mutants or whatever the fuck.
Earth mutants.
That's what I can call Earth mutants.
When I lived upstate in Walton.
Oh, man, I'm sure there was a few people.
There was this guy. I forget what his name was, but he would have seizures
his name
all the
Chris
time.
Hamburger?
No, he would have seizures like every day.
Shit. What?
And he worked at the supermarket in the town, and he knew my uncle. So like whenever he would come in, he'd be like, hey, Joe, 4 days, no seizures. And like he would announce it to everybody, like he was so proud, like you'd have his streak of no seizures. And he'd be driving in town and see the ambulance and like, he had another seizure. And be like stroking out on the sidewalk.
0 days without an incident.
Back to zero.
Oh, God. Back to somebody at the bar just takes a whoop. Not the malicious way. They're like, he likes to see his progress, but we got to reset it. So.
Those people fascinate me, though, man.
I remember when I was doing theater, I was out in California.
By the way, sorry to cut you off. I'm like so close to probably becoming one of those people as well, too. Like somebody drive through Wisconsin in 10 years and see where.
Oh, there's the old man Geyer is coming.
This crazy guy.
Yeah, except it's you. I picture you in like sweatpants, but with like snow boots on, and then like a trench coat, but like a cardigan sweater.
Still wear my dumb hats.
Yeah. I picture you layer up, but you have like an overcoat and just a sack, like a Rambo sack. You used to know him? Yeah, I used to know fucking Billy Geyer. Yeah. What happened? Man, too much acid. Too much acid.
Oh, I went through that portion of my life.
He was at a roast and someone knocked him out. He's never been the same since. He was too funny and he got assaulted for it.
I thought I was going to become that guy in my early 20s.
You resigned to the fact that
there was like 2 years where I was like, I just took too much acid, man. I'm just not. I'm not right anymore. And I've got over that. So I'm like, maybe I've just accepted myself more, or what the acid.
That's probably a lot
off.
Of that, yeah.
Because talking about, I was going to bring this up before. One of the first shows I did, I was an open micer. I wanted to
ask you more about this.
I was an open micer. And I would go down to the Roast Coffee and Tea Trading Company. It was
you showed me a video of that when we were in Walton doing shows.
I started out there, and that's where I would do comedy. And eventually met Evan Weiss, and he booked me on shows. But that I would just go down there because I didn't know where else to go to do comedy. So from doing that, I met this band. I don't think they're around anymore. Funk Nasty.
Nice name for a band.
They were actually pretty cool. And they were doing a show at the Long Island Ale House. They're like, dude, we love your comedy. You want to do like jokes in between the band setting up? It was like this whole day affair at the Long Island Ale House with all these bands. So I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And then I was with my buddy Pat, and we were fucking taking mushrooms and doing coke and acid all the time or whatever. And he's like, you should do acid at the show. And I'm like, all right, yeah. He's like, how many hits you want to do? And I was just like, I'll do 3. And he's like, all right, I'll buy it for you. And I'm like, all right. I didn't think he was going to. Then the day of the show, he's like, hey, I got those 3 hits of acid. And I'm like, all right, I guess I got to do it.
Wait, I love your mentality of being like, because you could just be like, you know what, man, I'm not really feeling that right now.
That would be the smart thing to do.
You're
but
like,
I got to be a showman.
Yeah. That was the first time you ever took acid?
No, it was probably like the 4th or 5th time.
But the most you ever took acid at once at that point?
The most, yes. That's the most I've ever done. You only need 1 hit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know, you crazy maniac.
That's like this. You just told me a story that you only could hear by you or on Behind the Music. I think Lemmy Kilmister has actually told a story about how he was like, he said something about how he was trying to make the dosage for acid last longer, and they said they couldn't do it, but we took triples anyway. It's like, what the fuck?
So I took all 3 in the parking lot before the show, and I'm watching this band. I'm feeling all right. I was drinking heavy too. I was drinking like whiskey and water or LITs.
You and your LITs.
Yeah, and it hit me like a ton of bricks right before I went up.
Fucking train hitting you. All of a sudden, you're like, I'm high.
I've never tripped this hard in my life.
Were you sweating like that kind of tripping where you're like,
bonkers. And I remember I went up there, and I was still an open micer at this point. Still didn't have a solid 5 minutes.
Do you have video of this?
My buddy does on his phone.
Oh my God.
And
I couldn't do that. I've performed on some drugs in the past. I'm always a little high, but
weed,
I don't think I could ever do hallucinogenics.
I've done it only a couple of times. So I go up there, and I think I got maybe 1 joke out, maybe or something.
And then the snake came out of the audience.
I was just up there like, I'm on acid. I'm on acid. And I was getting laughs, just screaming how I was on acid.
Were you doing your jokes like, actually, I was the janitor? I'm on acid.
I didn't even have jokes at this. I was an open micer. I didn't have.
You were just talking about you being high.
Yeah, and I was just yelling, screaming at people like, "I'm on acid! I'm on acid!" And then my buddy yells out "Read from your notebook." So I had my notebook up there. So I look at my notebook, and the words popped up into the sky, and were making new words in front of me. And I was like, I can't do that. I'm on acid. And the people knew that was what was going on, thought it was funny. The people in the bands and stuff, they're like, wow, this guy's really on acid. He's not lying.
That's amazing.
But I had to go up multiple times in between these bands setting up.
So how were you doing? Was it different every time? You're
was different
hello,
every time.
snake people. How are you?
I remember screaming I was on acid and screaming at the audience, and they were looked frightened. Yeah. And I was like, all right, this is my new brand of comedy. I'm the scary man. Wait. I'll just scare people.
I love that so much. I love how you're just rolling with the punches. Yeah. You're high, as if this is how your life is forever now. All right, I guess this is just what I do now. I'm just the angry acid comedian.
Yeah. I was out of my
Oh my
bird.
fucking God, that's so funny.
I went home and I laid in my bed and I listened to Trout Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart.
You came back around. I love it. It all comes around.
and lost my mind. And now I'm here to tell the tale.
I remember. I'm trying to think of any like crazy. I mean, like I remember the last time that like I did like a little bit of mushrooms like throughout my life. Like it never went crazy because I was always afraid of like I didn't know what was going to happen. But if I took a little bit, I felt amazing.
Mushrooms
so
are
I loved
awesome.
yeah. And then like recently, I remember during quarantine, and of course this happened during quarantine. I ended up my buddy gave me all this fucking like mushroom chocolate.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? And I just hit up my best friend and I was like, let's take all these shrooms because he was working from home. But I think his wife still had to go in to work or whatever like that, or so he was like by himself. And his roommate he was part of like a sanitation thing, so he always had to go to work. He was what's the word, like necessary worker?
Yes,
or something like what was it called? Essential worker. That was what it was called. He was an essential worker, and I just remember just going over his house, and it was like a mound of like it was like a coin, and then what used to be a skull. So I just cut everything in half and I was like, let's just eat the whole thing.
Right.
And immediately, kind of like what you said, like immediately I remember being outside and being like a train had hit me.
Right.
And I looked at it and I remember like later on, and I tripped my balls off. I remember telling him in the moment, like he put on like old cartoons. And I was laughing so hard, and I was apparently scaring my friend because he had told me later, he was like, I was looking at these crazy, he was putting on like old Looney Tunes cartoons and everything like that. And it's like just wanting violence on the screen. And I'm like laughing like a psychopath. Like I couldn't stop. It was so funny. The colors were so bright. So I'm just like bent over laughing like a huge jaw like this.
Your friend's frightened.
And then he's just like, he tells me later, it's like, yeah, I was about to leave. I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's like, that's why I changed it. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, dude, I looked at you and you looked like an actual jackal to me. Like I was, and that's when we realized that we had basically taken a shit ton of shrooms, like more than I had taken before. I wasn't scared by it. I was like, well, I gotta ride this out right now. And I remember telling him like, put on fucking movie themes. Okay, put on movie themes. That's all I want. Like movie scores. Like put on movie scores. We're gonna lay on the floor. I'm gonna stare at the ceiling, watch the shadows. And it was great. I remember the Indiana Jones theme came on and I stared at the fucking carpet because it looked like an Aztec village. And it was like, I was like, oh my God. And all of a sudden I was like, I understand drug addicts so much. I want to look at this forever.
I love the laughter on mushrooms.
Oh,
you can get
man.
the giggles.
I was cackling.
The giggle's so good.
Yeah.
Even more like than a weed high.
Yeah, I love shrooms.
Like
I really do.
You really start laughing on mushrooms. When with a
I
good
get
group.
the giggles real bad on mushrooms.
Yeah, so do
but
I.
It feels good. Like
it
it's
feels
like
great.
It's just like I just want to laugh at stuff. I remember I took a little bit. My buddy will make tea. I ever had tea?
No, I've never done the tea.
Oh, the tea's
I've
great.
done the chocolates and just regular. The
tea's great. We should do tea one time.
Penis envy mushrooms. I've taken these. Have you ever heard of these? They're very strong.
Okay. Never. Wait. Do they look like dicks? Right?
I don't,
Is that what they're called?
really
Penis envy?
I don't know
They look
why.
like they're very phallic.
I don't know. I didn't really think about it. Why they named it that way? Maybe because they look like dicks. But these were so fucking strong. My mushroom trips now are like I can't be around people.
Oh, that's what it's like.
I have to go.
Well, like I said, we vibed out in my buddy's like apartment, but it was like a really nice day, so we opened the blinds so the sun was coming in.
Yeah.
But it was it was cool.
I lay in my bed and I feel like I could talk to aliens and.
You told me this before.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
What was the story you told me about the fucking the song? What was it? Like there was this.
Oh, so all right. I started getting into aliens. Right,
yeah,
like
aliens
Tom
are great.
DeLonge from Blink-182 or something. How he's heavy into the aliens.
Oh wait, he is. He's huge into aliens.
So I started researching all this stuff or whatever, and I had this crazy mushroom trip where I felt I communicated with an alien. Right, I didn't see an alien, but I felt a presence. There was shit going on, out of this world stuff. Right. And after that, I was like, all about the aliens, and since I had that experience, aliens were showing up everywhere. Like there'd be a bumper sticker and there'd be an alien on it, or like people in conversation, talking about it, just come up on the radio like aliens, and I remember when I was tripping actually too, I was watching SNL.
Okay.
And I was just like tripping out in my bed.
Just in the sheets.
And there's that show afterwards on SNL, after SNL. It's like a news program. I forget what it's called.
Okay.
But they had Sammy Hagar on, and they were talking to him, and he's like, yeah, man, the aliens. He starts talking about aliens. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm tripping out in my bedroom. I'm like, this is crazy. Sammy Hagar's on my TV talking about aliens. And then I'm like, doing whatever in my room, blah, blah, blah. They replayed the episode and I didn't realize.
Okay.
Like right afterwards. So I'm like doing whatever in my bedroom, blah, blah, blah. And then I look back up at my TV and Sammy Hagar's there again. And he's like, yeah, man, the aliens, And I'm like, what's going on? This is too crazy. So now
Billy's looking out his window like the blinds, like, where are they?
To be honest, I feel like I do believe in aliens.
Okay. I believe in aliens too.
And through these weird mushroom experiences too, I got even more of, that they are real.
Okay.
And if you seek them, they will be there.
They will come.
They will come. And it's kind of freaky. And now I'm just like, I kind of leave the aliens alone. I don't bring it up. I brought it up today. Hopefully they don't come and bother me now.
I if there are aliens, I believe in aliens. But like,
it was just freaky, man. And I probably sound like a crazy person, but whatever.
This is why we do this podcast. Sound as crazy as you want.
Awesome. Now, Millennial Stoner, we're talking about weed and aliens.
Great.
This is what we need.
Just ripping off Joe Rogan. All those Joe Rogan roast jokes are fucking, I'm like, God damn, my name's Joe. Fuck.
Joe Rogan.
Oh, fuck, that was good, man.
That was the joke I did on Joe.
That was really good. You're the only one. I was very clever. That was the most inventive joke about me.
I
that
love
and
that.
Terry's joke,
Thank you.
I think.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, I love that. It's fun
You're
roasting.
Really good at roast joke writer.
Thank you, man.
You were telling before about when you get into this, like if you get into like roast mode.
Yeah, it's so much fun though, like writing stuff for you or like
well,
Fat
me
Jay, because we're buddies.
Yeah, it's like we know each other.
And
what did I say about Fat Jay? I was like, first time I met. Oh, the one you said is priceless though. First time I met Fat Jay, I thought, why is that beanbag chair talking black?
Beanbag chair's talking like it's black. What's going on here? That's something I thought when the first time I met Fat Jay. I just thought it and I didn't say it.
It's great.
And I just had it in my brain.
I think mine was like, if you gotta go see Fat Jay's act. It's like watching a deaf person who doesn't know sign language having a stroke. Because he has this weird erratic movement sometimes on stage like this.
He did phenomenal last night. Everybody did great.
Back around to the roasts again. We're keeping constant subjects here. Oh, wait, let's go back to something real quick. We were talking about what was your first weed experience besides that? You never finished the story, but did you finish the story about the pre-roll blunt guy?
Yeah, that's when I felt up the girl.
That's right. I'm sorry. It ended with tits. That's weed?
I was thinking too. I mean, if you want to take this to the next level, we should take some mushrooms or some...
Right now?
Some L. No.
On
a future episode.
It would just be me laughing the whole time into the fucking...
once you get like a bunch of episodes in.
You know what you got to do? You got to start it because it takes like an hour to kick in, right?
Yeah.
And then I take it at the beginning of the episode.
Or no, it'd take it like an hour before, we do the episode.
I don't know if I could. I don't know. I might. I mean, I remember the one time I took acid.
And I mean, if you don't want to drive, I'll drive.
You are a steel horse. I remember the one time I took acid. I remember I was walking in the woods and I like wandered away from the group of friends I was with. And and legit, do you like see shit?
Oh yeah,
I see shit. And some people don't. They don't see anything. They get like the ghost movements. That shit.
Yeah, those waves.
Yeah, I get that more on shrooms.
Yeah, no, shrooms, I see more stuff. The colors are so vibrant.
Yeah.
I think if
everything's brighter on shrooms.
I would suggest if you're an artist,
take shrooms.
Take some mushrooms.
Dude,
I think it would do a lot for.
I almost fucking I was like in that. I was in the artsy world for a while too. So, but
visually, mushrooms are so cool. Everything looks great. Colors are.
Kids are so afraid of drugs when I was like that, and that sounds so fucked up, but like. It's like in the theater world, like everybody, like people, there was a select people who smoked weed. I'm just saying that, you know what I mean? Like, and like nobody, like everybody kind of was like, not either you were into it or you weren't, which was cool. And then like most artist people, not that you should try drugs, but maybe try shrooms once. See how you like it.
Yeah. It's only food poisoning, kids.
Yeah, acid will open your mind, man. I mean, acid's one of those things where you can take it once. You take it once and fucking, you think a little differently after that. Just a little differently,
Those first couple of acid trips really changed me.
Because you're thinking about different shit from different angles, a little bit more complexly and everything.
It opens up a different part of your brain.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like also like it's like commitment. I think that's my biggest thing. Like people who like even you, when you're like, I'll take some acid and go about my day. I'm like, ugh, can't do it. Yeah. Like, I wish I could. I want to. I can smoke weed throughout my day. That's different. But like that feels like something I just want to sit back and enjoy. Shrooms, if I did a little microdosing of shrooms, probably.
I mean, there was that I got, those 10 hits.
I got you. I gave you 10 hits of acid that I had.
When was that? That was last summer?
It was like 2 years, 3 years. Oh, wait, because I think I had just started becoming friends with you.
Yeah. No, that wasn't last summer. It was, how about 2 years, 3 years ago?
I've known you for about that long, yeah, because we had just started. I started hanging out with you.
Wasn't it during quarantine?
Was it? I think.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think because when I started, like 4.5, almost 5 years ago, I met relatively quickly.
Right.
And then I was like, this guy's fun. I was just talking about outside. You're talking about the edibles thing. One of my earliest memories of you is when I had given you edibles that my buddy had made, like cookies. And you were like, awesome. And he had the bag. And I'm like, yeah, he says it's a pretty powerful batch. And you were like, great. And before I could blink, you would put all 4 cookies in your mouth and swallowed them. And I was like, this guy's fucking awesome. Like,
that was a great show. Had a great set.
Yeah, that was a Barton show.
Yeah.
That was a good night. That was pre-quarantine comedy was good to us.
Definitely.
I don't know what it is. And then everybody's still amalgaming back into the world.
Quarantine, like I said, I had a lot of fun during quarantine.
We were doing like secret underground comedy.
And then just tripping out. And I went through that 10 hitter and then I ended up buying another 10 hits.
Yeah.
And I just dose and fucking go about my day, Yeah,
I think you texted me because I had given you.
I'd walk around my neighborhood, go for walks in the nature preserve nearby.
Yeah, you had texted me and I was just like, you were like, I was like, how was the acid? And you were like, I took one at 9 and I didn't get to bed till fucking 4 the next day.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I don't sleep.
Yeah, you don't sleep.
I'd have to take it very early. And even then I probably won't get to sleep that night. It takes, I'm up for a while. It lasts a while for me.
Yeah,
I get crazy energy.
It's like an 8-hour commitment though. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, because I haven't done it in a while. That's probably why I've been like, because a couple of my buddies are like, we should do acid. And I'm like, okay. But it's also like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I have heard some fucking crazy stories. Like I have a buddy of mine that would tell me this fucking crazy stories about how he took acid. I think he said it was acid, and he was like listening to records, eating marshmallows, and the marshmallows are like dancing and shit. And he would eat the marshmallow and be like,
now they're dancing in my.
And then all of a sudden, he heard like a slamming noise, and then he turned around, and there was just a giant spider trying to get into his room, and he tried to jump out his own fucking window.
Oh shit!
And his friends had to stop him, and I was like, Jesus Christ!
Damn, I've never freaked out.
See, that's what I mean,
except
though.
for that show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But other than that, I've never really freaked out. There was a couple times on mushrooms I did.
You just have to relax, I think, for a lot of that shit, I think.
A lot of it, too, isn't just like, so I would take these things.
People react differently to everything, too.
I would be mixing stuff. Like, I remember at one party, I ate a whole bunch of mushrooms, but then people were giving me Coke. And then I was also really drunk. And then also probably on other things. And it's like, I was wigging out.
I ate a bunch of mushrooms, but then people were giving me Coke. So we like to call those fucking slow balls.
I would just be out of my mind,
We would do Coke to keep drinking. That was always the point of doing it.
Yes, just to keep the drinking going.
It was always just to keep drinking.
Yeah.
I remember one time I did Coke just to do Coke, and I'm like, I hate this. Like,
sometimes it would be fun at a job. It's like, I got to get up early. Why not just,
dude, I know a couple people. I knew a couple people that like, I don't know. Again, this always goes back to that small town thing, man. Like, I remember when I found out that like there was this rampant Coke out where I lived in the Hamptons. Like, and I bartended. I used to get tipped in it, and I would get tipped in it all the time, man. It was all these fucked up people just fucking. You go into one of those. We used to go to this bar down the street from where I worked. All the time in the bathroom, just people railing lines, like people that I knew too. It was like I made so many discoveries. I'm like, you do drugs? Oh my god!
The first time I ever did coke, it was 16 or 17.
Oh my god!
And I got hired to play a Santa Claus for this family party that was going on.
Yeah.
So I did some coke in the woods with my buddy because he had
Were
some.
you scared a little bit? Like, oh, like,
Yeah,
I don't know if I
know.
should be doing this.
Yeah, and I was dressed as Santa Claus, and I was walking to the party to go fucking give out, gifts to the fucking kids and
And you
crap.
came in with so much energy.
Yeah.
Timmy, presents.
It was so bad.
Dude, you're a filthy human being. I love you. Oh my God. That should be the poster for this. Billy Geyer dressed as Santa Claus doing coke in the woods.
Cocaine.
I should be selling him the coke. God damn it, that's a good idea. That's going to be the poster for my movie.
That's the one drug I can't do anymore because
He sounds so. I've done it every once in a while.
my cardiologist would kick my ass.
No, I've done it every once in a while. It's not. I used to do it a shit ton. Like, I
Right.
used to do it a lot because
Same
we were
here.
bored. We were bored. I remember my first experience. Check this shit out. This is kind of like, oh, if weed is just titties. Like I remember, I was at a wedding.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I was at a wedding. And I went to the party. Was at the after party was at this bar in the town that I live in called I don't think it's there anymore. It was called something lounge. It was some lounge, like it was some kind of Chinese. Oh, it was a Japanese restaurant bar.
Okay.
Something lounge. I can't remember what it was. But I walked in there and they had a huge bathroom, and there was like this whole club area. We had the run of the place. And I walked into the bathroom. It was a unisex bathroom, and there was this still to this day like a Margot Robbie level hot girl.
Uh-huh.
Just in she was part of the wedding party. She was Australian.
Uh-huh.
And she was Australian, which is I said Margot Robbie, and she had coke on a credit card, which I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh my God, drugs. Like that was the first thing I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, oh my God, drugs. And I was like, and everybody was like the coolest atmosphere to do cocaine in because like everybody was in like suits. It was a relatively sexy crowd.
Yeah.
Everybody drinks. So I was like, yeah, this is what we do. And I was like 18 or 19.
Uh-huh.
And they just go, they was like, is he all right? And they were like, yeah, he's cool. Because there was a bunch of Australians at this wedding. And I had made a bunch of them laugh before or something like that. And she was like, all right. And then she just smiles at me and puts it up my nose. And I'm like, yes, pretty lady. And that was the first time I did coke. But that was like, it's never been as good as that since. Like it's never been.
Yeah.
It's never, no one, you know what it is now? It's fucking 5 adults crowded around a table.
Yeah. Or you're in a bar bathroom.
Yeah, you're like, ugh. It's like, how's the family? It's fine. I'm only doing this on the weekends.
Yeah.
Bent over a fucking stall like an animal. Staying up till 9. We used to stay up till like 9 in the fucking morning.
Yeah. We stay up all night doing coke and fucking drinking.
Which I always just feel like a shithead, but I'm like, I was like, I need to run away from wherever I am right now. Like, I just need to run.
Having heart palpitations for a week.
That's great.
after.
I'm laying there like, I feel like, I remember there was a couple times where I'm laying there on a floor and being like, I'm going to die. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking die. Like,
This is my Motley Crue death.
yeah, that's my problem. I idolize rock stars.
Yeah, I guess I have the same problem too.
You know, but like, I don't like, again, I don't, that's the whole point. Because I don't drink as much. Like I used to just going out. I'd be like, maybe I'll fucking drive home. Maybe I'll sleep in my car, whatever, you know? I don't drink as much consistently. I used to drink Thursday through Monday.
Right, yeah.
We used to, that's when that was my drinking schedule. My days off for the fucking Tuesday, Wednesday, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, because Thirsty Thursdays when I was in, like, and we kept that going for a while. And like, after a while, I'm like, well, the reason you do coke is to keep drinking. I'm not drinking as much anymore. No one wants to just be on coke. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's
You're just sitting there grinding your teeth, wondering why you can't stop thinking about tits.
Yeah, unless you're in an orgy or something.
Yeah, but that's different. You're being, but again, an orgy? I don't know. My dick doesn't work if I ever did coke.
See, my dick always worked.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, I did the 3-hour jerk off session.
And I never had a lady around, so it was always be
Really, your dick always worked?
jerking
My dick
off for
never
10
worked
hours.
on cocaine.
I always did.
I would be beating essentially just punching myself in the pelvis, just trying to, because I'm so, you're so, I just can't stop thinking about giant titties.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fucking sexual fucking deviant fuck. Jerking off upstairs. My parents are going to fucking work.
Yeah, you've been up all night.
Yeah, I'm just like a crazy person.
Oh, I've been
That's
there.
why I don't do fucking Molly anymore. You want to hear the most fucked up, the most dirtbag white trash thing I've ever done in my life?
Let's hear it.
I got off done doing like theater out in California. I came back like the day before, like on my birthday. And I decided I was like, for some reason, I remember I was drinking on the plane a little bit, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to go to a strip club. And I went to a strip club, and I ran into somebody I knew, and he was like, oh, I have Molly. And I'm like, give me the Molly. Like, I was like, I don't give a fuck. And I did like a little bit of it. Not a lot, just like a little bit of it. Because I was like, I have to get home. Like, my parents are expecting to see me, you know? I did a little bit of it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go home. And it was weird because it was like my birthday. So the strippers were being like real nice to me.
Nice.
Like, one of them gave me like a free lap dance and everything like that. There was like nobody in this fucking place. And there was like this really, really, really hot fucking like a Colombian girl with a huge ass.
What strip club?
It's not there anymore. What was the dirt one? What was the dirtbag one? Forbidden Fruit?
Are they all dirtbag?
Yeah, they're
ones?
all dirtbag. Any strip club is a dirtbag place. Unless you're in Vegas where they put like fucking they put fucking special effects behind these girls. You know, in costuming. You know, they come out looking like I don't know, Greedo from Star Wars for the but yeah, I remember being in there and there was this one girl who was really hot. She was a Colombian girl with a huge ass. And she was being really nice. She gave me a free lap dance, which was nice. And this dude gave me did Molly. And I went home. And then I was like, well, I guess I'll do all of this. And I didn't do all of it, but I did like a good chunk of it. And like I couldn't go to bed and I couldn't stop jerking off. And I jerked off until 9 a.m. I gave my dick a fucking scab.
Yeah.
I was like, that was like the worst it ever was. Yeah. It's just like, because I expected to like swim. I was expecting to like swim in my sheets and like feel weird. I had like a laptop. My phone was on. I had porn on the TV. And I'm just naked like fucking Alfred Molina and Boogie Nights. You know, just like I made these mixtapes, man. Snorting fucking moon rocks and fucking like. But I have that thing where like if I really don't like something, I haven't done it since. I've never had any desire to ever. I'm pretty sure it might have been meth.
I was going to say that most of the time it is meth.
It was probably meth. I did meth all night. Like that's basically what that.
I've done Molly a bunch of times, and probably 90% of the time it's probably meth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I never liked that club drug shit, though. Like, I wasn't a big ecstasy guy. My buddies liked ecstasy. I never did ecstasy.
I did back when. Oh,
this is our Cheech and Chong episode.
This is a bad one. This is a bad one.
We got to wrap up soon. 5 more minutes. We got 5 more.
All right. So
how bad? Think about it.
No, I'll tell it. It's you know, I'm an
Let
open
it be
book.
known that this is a Billy Geyer story, and I am not involved in it.
I was maybe like 17, and my buddy could get Molly. It was like good Molly, real Molly, not meth.
Okay.
He
looks so judgingly at me.
We get it from this guy. He was older. He was like in his 30s, right? My buddy knew him.
Yeah.
And he was a fucking junkie. And I ended up hanging out with him all night. And I was friends with all these junkies and a huge alkie. So like just to fit in, I would take clean needles and I would shoot liquor in my arm. Obviously, in my arm.
Jesus Christ, Billy!
So I remember I would fill syringes with Jaeger, fucking.
Did it work?
Whiskey. You get a rush.
That's my next question. Did it work?
You get a wicked rush. I don't know if it really gets you more drunk. I mean, it was hard to tell. Fucking, I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit different than a normal. Just in.
I love you so much.
Just to get in your mouth. Anyway, so
I'm trying to. All right, let's run the gambit of shitty things. What else? What else is bad?
Listen. So I would shoot liquor, right? So I'm hanging out with this guy, right?
Oh my gosh!
And
I can't get over that you shot liquor. It's so funny.
He's like nodding off on the couch. And I'm like, hey, can I use one of your needles? I'm gonna go, I'm gonna shoot some liquor. You know, and I was on.
You were on heroin at the time.
I was on Molly.
Oh, you're on Molly.
This is before I even did heroin. And
oh no, this is how he progressed there.
I was just friends with so many junkies, and I guess
Holbrook, right?
Yeah, in Holbrook, and like I was a drunk, and I'd be like, let me shoot some liquor just to fit in with the guys. Anyway,
monster.
So I'm in the bathroom, right, and I'm shooting liquor while this guy's nodding off in the bathroom, in the living room, right? So
okay.
His brother comes home, who he lived with, and I didn't realize, and he walks in on me shooting liquor in the bathroom, and I'm like, no, it's just liquor. It's not what you think. He thinks, his brother had a drug problem. He's supposed to be keeping him clean or whatever, right?
I mean, it's not better. Like
the guy gets up and he's like, oh, Billy, what the fuck? You're doing drugs in my house? But he was just like nodding off on the couch, fucking bastard. So they kicked me out, and obviously he didn't believe me that I was shooting liquor, because who does that?
Yeah, who the fuck? I wouldn't believe that. If I caught you in the bathroom and you said like,
with a
it's
needle in your
okay,
arm.
it's Jägermeister, I'm like, I don't know if that's better or worse.
Yeah, it might be worse.
I was like, that sounds like a crazed behavior to me.
That's me when I was a teenager.
That's
I
crazy.
was out of my bird.
It was just drinking when I was a kid. Like, we just fucking drank.
We just put it in our mouth. We didn't
fucking,
stick it in our arm.
I just remember we all drank cheap beer. Everybody drank cheap ass. We drank like Stroh's because it was the cheap. You could get the most of it. Yeah, Natty Ice, Stroh's. PBR didn't come around till later, but I was the only I remember when I went out of my way to get PBR for a couple parties because I was a fucking punk rock metal kid.
Yeah, and those were always big at parties.
Yeah, they're cheap too.
Yeah,
like $8 for a fucking 12-pack.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, I remember. I got to wrap up, but I remember you were asking before, we were talking about how did you get beer and everything, and the one I remember, I had a buddy. We went into King Cullen. He goes, "Come with me. We're gonna get beer." And we go into a King Cullen. And we get this car, we fill it up with like everything. And I'm like, can I get this? And he goes, yeah, man. I'm like, all right, I got some money on me. And I'm like, let's get Lone Star. And I want Guinness. We had this fucking we had like a couple 30 racks, but then we had like all this other shit.
Uh-huh.
And then he goes like, yeah, just like go over there and like just, for a second. And I'm like, okay, I came back and I came back and he just goes, all right, just walk with me. I'm like, what do you mean walk with me? We walked. He's like, just keep going. And we just walked out King Cullen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Oh.
We didn't pay for it. We just walked out King Cullen. And I was like, oh my God, are we stealing? Like, but as it was happening, I was like, we're stealing. Are you stealing? Are you stealing? He goes, go. And my friend fucking was in the car. And he was just like, what happened? I'm like, we stole all this beer. We have to leave now.
Oh, shit.
We were like 16, man.
Yeah, we would do stuff like that too at the Stop and Shop. You were easy to just like run out with the beer real quick.
That was always the last result. The snatch it, with the grab and go.
Yeah,
that was like, hey man, maybe if I can just walk out the back or some shit, or like if I walk with people.
What helped me too was I was this size in like middle school.
Yeah, that's how I could buy cigarettes. I was tall,
so there was a lot of the time I could just buy it myself when I was a teenager because they didn't ID me.
God.
Drinking Steel Reserves in the woods with the boys.
God, I want to talk to you for another 3 hours. We got to wrap up.
Yeah.
Okay. We got plugs? You got shows coming up?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
I do
we
too.
Have, let's see here. We'll run through everything. So,
it's okay. We can fill this time.
April 22nd. We're at in the Giggle Room.
Yep, I'm on that show as well. Please. I think we've got some reservations. There's still some spots left. We want to fill this room. That's Terry's actual birthday, right?
I think his birthday's on the 20th.
Okay.
Same as Hitler. And that's going to be a great show. Me and Winchell are on it. Fat Jay.
Yeah, Funky Bunch is on that.
Bonnie Scalisi, Mandy Jones, Stephen Kalpa, Lou Pratt.
Yep.
Star-studded events.
Headlined by your lovable uncle, Terry McNeely.
Yes.
Mr. I Eat Cigarettes.
April 23rd, I'm at the Freeport Yacht Club. That should be a real banger.
May 20th, I'm going to be at McGuire's Comedy Club. I think I'm doing the 8 o'clock show. I haven't got the actual time on that, but I'll be there. And then the next big thing I got going on is June 9th, I believe. Yes. June 9th. This is a big show. This is LI's Funniest Comics. It's going to be at Stereo Garden in Patchogue.
Nice.
Show starts at 8, seats at 7. It's a great lineup. It's hosted by Fat Jay. Rob White's going to be on it. Nicholas Wilkinson. I'm going to be on it. Emily Santosis. I hope I said her name right. She's going to kill me.
Yes, you said it right.
Santosis. Emily Santosis, who, if you haven't seen, is hilarious. And Caroline Fung's on it too. So come on down. It's $25 to get in, 2-drink minimum, the usual bullshit with comedy stuff. But come down and support, guys.
You skipped over too May 13th and 14th.
Oh, May 13th. May 13th and 14th. We're going to be in, those are our state gigs. I'm sorry. We're going to be at We're going to be at Walton.
The Castle on the Delaware in Walton, New York on May 13th.
This is the Funky Bunch tour.
It's, Uncle Terry and the Funky Bunch, just us at the Castle.
Yep.
And then the next day, we're at the Keystone stage in Oliphant, Pennsylvania. Uncle Terry and the Funky Bunch.
Then the Glass, I'm doing that Glass Room show.
Oh, I don't have that in my calendar.
Usually
on a Thursday.
Tim Delaney, it hasn't given me the date yet for it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, wait. No, yes, he did give me the date. This is the worst plugs we've ever done. He did give me the date. Let me see. He's just come down. He'll. There he is. Saliani. April 21st. April 21st. What's it called? The Glass?
It's L.I. Glass in Holtsville.
Yeah, April 21st.
Part of the Kea Club. It's a weed event. They host comedy shows.
Come out, my fellow stoners, and
once a month.
Yeah, there's vendors there, right?
A lot of weed vendors, people with food. It's a pretty cool time. You can just smoke weed and watch comedy.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, this has been another great episode of Millennial Stoner. I'd like to thank one of my very good friends and guest, Billy Geyer, for coming down.
Thank you, Joseph. This was good, man. I love this.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for having me on.
This was a lot of fun. This was a good episode. This might end up being one of my favorites. This was a good one.
Thank you, man.
But
I can make it happen for you.
I'm gonna ask everybody to also subscribe, like, and share, and all that stuff. If you want to find me on Instagram, I'm on that Winchell Kid 87 on Instagram. Facebook, just Joe Winchell. You can find me as Joe Winchell on Facebook. I have to get an actual comedy account and be professional. What was the website, Chris? Just joewinchell.net. Joewinchell.net. I have the episodes on there, and I'm going to start putting my show dates up on there. And there's going to be black and white pictures of me because I'm artsy. It's just like me sitting on a fucking stool, like. So, like, share, and subscribe, guys. I hate that I have to say that, but I want this to work. So, like this, share it, subscribe if you think it's funny. That's pretty much it. Thank you, guys. Signing off right now.